Welcome to All in Yellow,
the official Norwich City podcast.
This is your official Norwich City podcast, bringing you insight and experiences from some of your favourite Norwich City names.
Rely on our youth and our academy. We need to implement a bit special style of playing.
Players are not afraid of going on loan. They know that can go and be the next Todd Cantwell.
I like the atmosphere at Carrow Road, and I think our fans are great, and it enriches my life.
Make sure you subscribe to the All in Yellow podcast as we aim to bring the best Norwich City insight out there. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just search All in Yellow, and we're on the Norwich City YouTube channel. That's if you prefer your podcasts in visual form.
We come to you. Welcome to NR1 Live, and as you can see, the Norwich City lads are arriving in a, not quite sunny Cardiff, but certainly not as snowy and cold as it is here in Norfolk. Fully masked up appropriately. Grant Hanley, look, typical Scotsman, cold, still got his shorts, t-shirt on. Doesn't feel it at all. And as you can see here at Carrow, often you get to see Carrow Road with a bit of snow laying on the pitch, but we have today. But NR1 Live is still here, and this is what's coming up. On today, with virtual guests, we've got Brian Gunn, Ewan Roberts and Dan Wynn from the CSF. On the gantry, we have a little chat with Chris Gorham. And of course, we've got all of the team news coming up as well. And by my side, as usual, Rob Newman is here. Thanks for coming again, Rob.
No worries.
Snowy Carrow Road. Look, again, we talked about how Norwich got through that period of having all these injuries and players missing injury. This player's missing again today. Barley Mumba and Xavi Quintia have tested positive for COVID now, so they're out. Tim Krul and Adam Ida are still out at the moment. Josh Martin is of course out, and Lucas Rupp is out, both ill as well. Steve is still out with an ear infection, but Zimmerman and Dowell are expected to be back on during the week. So this is the team today we can see. So it's still pretty healthy for Norwich.
Still a strong team.
But it just shows the depth of the squad they've got at the moment.
Absolutely. And we thought they'd gone over that period of injuries, you know what I mean, and they were near a fully fit squad, but it just goes to show the COVID is one of the things that's going around at the moment. Obviously, Josh Martin and Rupp are ill. Stephen Manir infection apparently, and Zimmerman Dow hopefully will be coming back on Wednesday. But that's still a strong side. It's still quite a strong bench as well. But hey, listen, the fact is that Norwich have got a really strong squad at the moment, and it's having to come to the fore now.
Yeah, one of the big talking points, of course, today, we can see from that team news already, is Timo Pukki is missing. Timo Pukki has got a side strain, apparently, nothing to do with COVID, thankfully. And someone who will be able to talk to us a lot about that situation and the kind of position is Ewan Roberts, which I think we're going to chat to in just a little while. But that's the big talking point, isn't it, today? Because Hugill is a very different type of player to Timo Pukki.
Hugill is what we say, the 9B. Yeah, I mean, he wants balls into the box. The goal against Coventry last week in the cup was typical. The balls coming across. He's sort of like the header, attacking the ball. So Norwich have to play a different way to accommodate him.
So is it the team having to play a different way to accommodate him, or is he going to have to change his game to fit into the system? Because when you've got Campbell and Buendia, I can't imagine them pulling wide and crossing balls into the box, which Hugill will thrive off.
Not at all. But with Hugill, I think what they lose is Pukki's movement is fantastic. He'll come short. He'll play little link-up plays and triangles with your Buendias, with your Cantwells. Hugill's got to do that. If he wants to get involved in this team, he's got to drop a bit deeper. He's got to receive those little 5-10 yard balls, play around corners, and then when he does, he's got to be able to spin. But I don't think he's got that sharpness and the pace what Pukki has got. He sort of like relies on long diagonal crosses from even deep from Aarons or Sorensen. Wendy and all that don't have to get down the wing, but he just needs to thrive on balls into the box. But like you say, does Hugill change or does the team change? We'll see today.
Well, where's that supply line going to come from then? Because you've got Max Aarons, who would be the one perhaps getting forward and putting cross into the box with his right foot, but Sorensen's not going to do that from the left-hand side, and Campbell and Buendia generally aren't those type of players either. So Hugill is going to have to find a different way of playing. Is that playing a bit further up the pitch today, trying to get a bit closer and playing in the 18-yard box, you think?
I think Aarons is the one because he's naturally right-footed, basically. He'll get the ball on his right foot, and even if he gets it 10 yards inside the opponent's half, he can look at a diagonal to Hugill, who's pulled off on the far post. Sorensen can even do it if he's deep, but if he doesn't do that, or if they do that, then the likes of Buendia and Cam have got to maybe push forward and get their little knock.
I have to interrupt you because we've got Ewan on now. He's working for BBC Radio Wales today, so we can't speak for too long. Yeah, so Ewan, thanks for joining us, mate. Just talking about Jordan Hugill at the moment. I don't know if you can. Hopefully, you can hear us. It looks like he can't hear us. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
You can. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jock. I can hear you. How are you?
Good. Yeah, we're just talking about Jordan Hugill and saying about how he's fitting into the team today instead of obviously Timo Pukki, who's out. But the system is still the same. The players are still the same. So how is Jordan Hugill going to fit into that system?
I don't see why not. I mean, people. He's not. He's obviously a different type of player. He's got different strengths and weaknesses. You know, that's obvious. But if you knock the ball up to him, he'll get hold of it. He'll link up play. I don't think he'll do those clever little runs off defenders' shoulders that Pukki does ever so well. but we all know if you put the ball in the right areas in the box, you know, he'll come to life and he'll score goals. Just because he's 6'3", he's got that physicality. He's a good old-fashioned target man, if you like. Doesn't mean that, you know, you can't knock the ball up to his feet and he'll get hold of it. You know, he's more than capable of doing that.
And is that the problem then? Is it the perceptions that probably we have as fans and watching the game? Look, people think, well, he's only got one dimension to his game, and that's from, you know, heading balls in the box and holding the ball up. But he's a bit better than that, isn't he?
He is a bit better than that. You know, you look at the goals that he scored for Queen's Park Rangers when he went on loan last season. Didn't they? Football's football, Darren. You know, he wouldn't have earned the living that he has. He wouldn't have played for the clubs that he has. You know, Stuart Webber and Daniel Farker, they are so thorough in their methods when they bring players in. Their transfer policy has been fantastic since they've been at the football club. If they didn't think that Jordan Hugill had something to offer, maybe something different as well to Norwich City, you know, they wouldn't have brought him to the football club.
Yeah, but looking at the way he's playing at the moment, it's an opportunity for him today, isn't it, to hopefully get a couple of goals, which then cements his place in the team. But, you know, you have to look at his assets he does have. And generally, when he's played well and when he looks most threat is when there is lots of balls coming in from wide areas. But with Todd Cantwell and Buendia both playing on either side of him, he's probably not going to get that kind of delivery, is he? So he is going to have to change and adapt his game a little bit.
Well, I think he will. I think he will, John, because you look at the way Norwich like to play, the fullbacks love bombing forward. You know, Max Aarons plays like a winger. You know, he has got great service from that right-hand side. Maybe not as much Sorensen because I wouldn't say he's a natural left-footed player. So he will get service. I mean, he scored a really good goal last week against Coventry. I think it was Quintia who put the ball in. Great ball in. He's made a good run. A deft little header. You know, and it was game over. People have asked me the question, you know, would I fit into this system that Norwich play now with? Well, my answer is yes, I would. I was a professional footballer at the end of the day. You know, I was pleased with my first touch. I had a decent first touch for the big man. I could lead the line. You know, you could knock the ball up to me. I could win it in the air. You could knock it up to me. I'd bring it down. I'd bring the midfield players into play. I think it's a bit of an insult at times when you have got someone who's over 6 foot that they can't play a certain way. As I say, he's been in the game a long time. You know, he's no fool. He's got his strengths. Obviously, he's got his weaknesses like every player has. But he's more than capable of playing up front for Norwich. Yeah,
and just very quickly, Ewan, before you go, Kiefer Moore's back on for Cardiff today, expected to start, their top goal scorer. How much of a plus is that for them? What type of player is he? How much of a threat is he going to be?
He's been a massive loss. You know, he's their top scorer, 8 goals. He's their main man up front because it hasn't really happened for Harry Wilson since he joined on loan. You know, he pulled that hamstring against Swansea, and they've really struggled without him. Robert Glatzel isn't the answer in my opinion. I've seen him many times, but it's great news for them that he's back. Obviously, he's on the bench today, so he's a handful. You know, he's big, he's strong, he's got good movement. You know, he's got that little bit of pace about him as well for someone who's 6'5", and as you would expect, Jock, when you've got a centre forward who's that tall, you know, anything on that back post, he's going to be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, well, certainly someone to be aware of then, Ewan. Thanks for joining us, mate. Enjoy the game. We'll speak to you soon.
Pleasure, boys. Thank you.
So, you know, he's basically said there, Jordan Hugill. But I think because you see the goals he scores and the threat he's been when he's here, you do kind of think we need to play a certain way to get the best out of him. But actually, as Ewan is saying, it's a bit of an insult that we kind of think he's a little bit one-dimensional. You know, he's got a lot more to his game.
We're not, but if you say to Jordan Hugill, what would you want in a match in a team? To me, to play to my best strength, he's saying I need balls into the box. I'm big physical. Robbo's completely 100% right. I mean, we're not insulting Hugill by saying we can't come and link up the play. What we're saying is that Pukki does it better.
It's more about doing his job rather than kind of doing a job for the team and
absolutely. But as a goal threat, me marking Jordan Hugill, if he was dropping 10, 15 yards outside of the penalty box, and I'm saying, well, go on then, play little 1-2s and whatever, because I know you ain't going to spin me, rather than get the ball out wide to Aarons, put the ball in the box and you challenge me, I know which one I'd choose.
Yeah. And it was a good result in the Cup against Coventry last week. And we've got the highlights here, Rob, we can have a look at as well. We can talk over these. And this is what Ewan was talking about, the cross that came into the box. And he is a real threat from these areas, Jordan Hugill. But this is McLean's goal, but a typical Norwich goal, nice and neat, playing from the outside, coming in direct into the middle, playing through centrally. Placheta heavily involved in that one, and Kenny McLean getting a rare goal.
That might be a thing they're playing today. I mean, if Kenny McLean or anyone goes beyond Hugill, that might be an option. Whereas this is what Hugill doing. You look at his movement, he sees it, nice little run in between the defenders. That's what he wants. That's where he's going to score all his goals. If you ask him, you put the ball in there, I will win them headers.
Yeah, and Placheta as well from the left-hand side there. Something we've been a little bit critical of him is getting that area, getting that little bit of space, doing your thing down with those wide areas and getting the ball into the box. Does that shoot Placheta more, that type of centre forward, rather than a Timo Pukki?
Absolutely, because he's there, he's a winger. He showed like a commitment there to take the defender on and put a cross in. There's no doubt in his mind, I'm going to put this cross in. If I put this cross in a good area, Hugill will make good runs. Rather than say, I'm not going to pull it out, I'll turn out and I'll pass it back to the left back, I'll pass it into the holding midfield player. But listen, this was a great win. Sort of like it gave players that haven't played so much over the Christmas time minutes.
And how important was that as well for Daniel Barden? Because he had some saves to make. It wasn't an easy ride for him, and he kept a clean sheet, and he's obviously starting again today. So, how much confidence has that given him and the benefit of this game to give him some minutes?
This looks a confident keeper. And I speak to you. You speak to Gunny, all goalkeepers have got confidence in their own ability, and they have to have. I think if they want to go on that pitch and they want to have an input in the game, you've got to have a confidence in your ability. You've got to be able to demand that box. And this game was a good game for him. You know what I mean? Like I said, he played in Coventry. There was no points on it. But he did well. He made some great saves. We saw in the 45 minutes he played here, his distribution is good as well. And I just think that was a good game for him to play in.
Yeah, now I know you played in goal once, didn't you? I remember at Sheffield United. Did you concede?
Yes.
Okay. Well, speaks to a goalkeeper's probably a little bit better than you then.
Because he got sent off.
Yeah, because Gunny got sent off.
Too verbal at half time.
Was he? Is that what it was?
Quiet.
Is that what happened, Gunny? Were you too verbal at half time and got sent off?
I think I was verbal in the 49th minute when Sheffield United scored an equaliser, and I think I told the linesman, the referee, and everyone else around that they were wrong.
Exactly.
So Rob had to go in goal. How did you assess Rob's performance that day, Gunny, from his goalkeeping perspective?
He fitted the shirt well. The shirt fitted him well, which was the main thing. But I want to go back to Robbo. What was he talking about? His second touch was a header.
Exactly.
That's hard. You can't answer back. That's not fair. That's not fair. Okay,
I'm sure he will on social media. But I think you're going to talk about Daniel Barden. And you mentioned it was a great game from last week. It was a great game from last week in many ways. I think the early save, he had a save in the first 10 minutes, a one-on-one. And that really settled them down. And then after that, I've only seen the highlight saves. I've not seen the full performance. So I'm looking forward to see them in action today. But he got a lot of plaudits from teammates, from his manager after the game, from the commentators. He came off the pitch with man of the match. So for a young lad in his sort of first full game, it was a terrific experience for him and one he'll never forget. Now he's got to follow that up today. A different type of game, a tougher game, I'd imagine, because I feel those balls will be coming into the box in more often, long throws. You know what you're going to get with Cardiff. They play a similar system that they've always done. They've always got those experienced players around about 26, 27, who are championship experienced. So, this will be a tougher game for him today than last week.
But you Gunny, look, Daniel Barden at the moment, he's had the benefit now of playing in front of a back four he's going to play in front of again. It's that familiarity, isn't it? It's that cup game, as much as it's a good result in Norwich progressing the cup. Was it more about actually getting him minutes to play in the league so he's getting that familiarity with the players around him?
Well, it's just worked out well for him. Unfortunately, with Tim going down with COVID and still sort of recovering from that, I think Daniel would have maybe played in the cup game anyway. And then obviously they would have taken Tim back, for the league game today. I think it was rushed back, obviously, with Michael McGovern's injury a couple of weeks ago where that hamstring went. So, it's opportunities there for him. He's the number one goalkeeper today. The pathway is open to him because of 2 injuries to senior goalkeepers. And he's got to show that he's good enough to go on that pitch. And, if he does that, then the manager knows he can trust him. I'd imagine that if Norwich get Tim back again, Tim will come straight back into the team. Whether they'll be looking for a more experienced goalkeeper in the last 2 weeks of the loan market towards the end of the season, just to make sure that they go through the season with some experience behind Tim Krul as well. But to be fair, Daniel's done himself no harm at all.
Yeah, he has. And as a young goalkeeper, again, what's that like as a perspective of what will he be wanting now? Will he be hungry for first-team football more regular? Because goalkeepers go on to what, 50? I mean, they seem to play forever. So he's very young having his appearances now, isn't he? He's got a long time ahead of him. Has he just got to be patient?
Yeah, no, definitely. As a 20, 21, 22-year-old, whatever age he is, he has to be that. I mean, there's not many goalkeepers get into a first team at that age and play 46 games in a whole season. So normally, if he does well in the next few games, and then Tim comes back, and as I say, if there's another experienced goalkeeper behind, I think Norwich City would be looking to loan Daniel out for a season, half a season, make sure he gets a good run of games under his belt. I know he's played at I think Bury Town was his level he played at and got games there, but he probably needs to be tested at a higher level. But if he's getting games at the moment, he might as well make the most of it and keep those performances up and prove that he's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, brilliant, Gunny. Thanks as always, mate. Great stuff. We'll speak to you at half time.
Look forward to it.
We've got the draw now. If we're going to have a quick look at the draw from there, what are you going to say there? You've got a bit of a smirk on your face.
Gunny, some people are putting Gunny forward to come back as the number 2 goalkeeper.
Okay, all right. I'd like to see that.
He didn't mention that, did he?
Fair. No, he didn't. No, he obviously hasn't seen it because he would mention it, wouldn't he?
We'll have to ask him at half time.
We've got to look at the FA Cup draw now. They did the 4th and 5th round at the same time, and obviously Norwich away to Barnsley. But with the incentive for potentially a Chelsea in the next round. I mean, how do you sit with the FA Cup this year? Because this is the year when actually, if you're playing away from home, it's not as much of a disadvantage, is it? Even in a cup game.
Not at all. And we played Barnsley a couple of weeks back here. It was a tough game. I mean, they were a strong team, so it's not going to be an easy tie. But what it gives Daniel is the opportunity to play players that are not playing 90 minutes every week. They went in, they played them against Coventry, did really well last weekend. They can do it against Barnsley. So basically, all the squad will have a lot of minutes when they come in. Top of the league is the most important place to be. Going back to the Premier League is the most important exercise this season. But this is a free hit against Barnsley. Go to Barnsley, play your team that haven't played the minutes and whatever. Go there, and if you win, like I say, it's a great tie in the next round. Probably be Chelsea. But you're testing against the best.
There's lots of lads who have kind of been on the cusp of this team all season. Dowell's been in and out because of injury. Barley Mumba's been in and out. And he's one we're going to have a little look at now. I mean, disappointing for him, isn't it? Because he's a young lad who's just broken the team. Did brilliant on his debut. He got injured. He then got back into the squad again. And now he's got COVID. It's like, you feel for the young lad, don't you? But, the good thing is these lads are getting opportunities and they're hungry for it. But he's a real talent. It looks like there's going to be a good future for him.
He's one now that Quintilla, I don't know where he sits in Daniel's thought process, but he's the number 2 now. He's a left back. He came in that game and created an assist for the goal and whatever. So yes, it's disappointing for him that he's sort of had that injury. Now he's come back and there's a left back spot probably up for grabs as well. He's still, he's had COVID. Nothing he can do about that. It's just unlucky. So he's got to come back from that. The good thing about this kid is that he finished on a high and people remembered him finishing on a high. Absolutely.
There, again, that cut side like a Sorensen's playing as a left foot on the right foot on the left. He's doing the same on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's got serious potential, and I think he's one that Daniel will be looking at and saying this guy will be part of the squad from now until the end of the season, all the time he's fit, and then next season he'll go on and hopefully progress into a first team regular because he's got the lot.
And how important has that been then for those lads like him to step up, Sorensen to step up? Because, when you talk about Jamal Lewis has left and gone to Newcastle, Max Aarons was linked with clubs in the summer, you've had these lads that have come in and been very capable. You've got Quintilla, you've got Jakob Sorensen, who we can see, what he's done so far this season. He's done pretty well.
This guy's done better than pretty well for me. You're left-footed, so if I said to you go and play right back because you're a left-footer, you'd think that's the worst position. If you say to me, a left back, right-footed playing left back is the worst position that you can think about it because it's so many
tackle,
things.
Isn't it? You can see a Barley Mumba backing out football. He's tackling the outside of his left foot.
It's so difficult, but for him to perform in the way that he's done over the 17 games, listen, we're not expecting him to go on the overlap and whip a left foot crossing because you don't do that when you're right-footed. But what he's done, he's been so assured defensively. There's been a couple of times when we've set up here and where like the right winger of the opposition are trying to get him, but he's stuck at his task. And yeah, 1 or 2 times he might go away from him. But listen, in consistency of performances, he has done a 7 out of 10 for the majority of those 17 games.
Here's a quandary for you, right? Do you think, this is my own personal opinion as well, do you think in terms of a fullback, do you think that's one of the easiest positions to replace on the pitch in terms of, you bring these younger lads on, you sell them for good money. It's not like losing a centre forward. No. It's not like losing a powerful central midfielder, or defender, or goalkeeper. A fullback is kind of an area where if you nurture them right and you sell them on well, you can kind of keep churning them out, perhaps. Yeah,
I see what you're saying, but the way Norwich play, is Max Aaron a right back? He's more like a right winger. It's unbelievable. You've got to have the quality defensively and offensively now in a fullback's position. So you look at the top fullbacks, and I feel that is one of the reasons Max Aaron's has probably not been sold. Jamal Lewis was probably maybe a bit better in the final third. If Max Aaron's, we've said all along, gets in that final third and starts getting 6, 7, 8 assists, Max Aaron's will be a top fullback because he's got the ability to be 1v1s in defensively. If I look at a fullback and saying, can he defend? A lot of managers are saying, looking at a fullback and say, can he deliver crosses? Which way do you look at it? But fullback is a position now where you say you could turn a left winger into a left back. Probably you're not.
Yeah, but this wasn't my question. The question is, in terms of financial point of view from the football club, for me, they're a position where you can lose someone and get somebody else in. I know. Probably to Norwich it's a bit more difficult because how much they do offer going forward as well. So you've almost got to have the complete.
So you're trying to say if you're a fullback, you can hide a fullback out of the way. If you're not the best fullback, you can get away with that.
Well, I always remember a good winger always ended up playing fullback near the end of their career.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But now good wingers are saying, right, listen, I'm going to go straight back left back. I'm not going to wait till I'm 28, 29. When I'm 23, 24, I'm going to go back in the left back position because I know top teams and teams that are winning division, they're going to want me to play as a winger anyway, so I'm going to go back as a left back.
But if you're going to sell players for 15, 20 million, fullbacks are good.
Fullbacks is a good one. Yeah, fullbacks is a good one to replace.
Could have said that in the first place. I
wanted to make a debate about it. Saying that you couldn't become a left winger, you couldn't become a left back because I don't think you were strong enough in the tackles and whatever. Defending the far post? Did you even header it?
I scored 2 headers in my career, I'll have you know.
Good, I like that.
Actually, I fractured my cheekbone doing a header and I slipped a disc in my neck doing 2 headers, so I gave up on that.
Maybe you could have played
that. Not a good idea. Anyway, I digress.
Look,
it's a very strange atmosphere for us all today, but one man in particular is having to kind of commentate on the game today, not in Wales, but here at Carrow Road. Here's when I spoke to Chris Gorham just a little earlier. Okay, I'm joined now by the BBC Radio Norfolk legendary commentator, Chris Gorham. A very different position for us today, Chris, commentating on the game. We're not actually in Wales. I mean, what's that like for you?
Well, this is a first for me. I've been commentating on Norwich City for about 15 years now, and every game I've commentated on, I've been at. So this is very strange today. I mean, being at Carrow Road on a Saturday afternoon isn't strange, but the fact the pitch has got snow on it and that the Norwich players aren't here, that is weird. Yes, we're relying on this monitor next to us here to show us what's going on all those hundreds of miles away at Cardiff.
Yeah, but they call it the technical term is off tube, isn't it? But how have you done that before previously? I bet you would have done it in your career somewhere along the line.
I haven't actually.
Okay.
No, this is a first, unless you count maybe growing up and commentating on FIFA games and practicing, honing my commentary skills. So yeah, that will be different today. So I know you have done it before, so you can tell me what's different about it. I imagine you're very much in the hands of the TV director, aren't you? Normally
you're sat in the warm, which is a benefit because you're in a studio with a nice big screen. But today we're still up here on the gantry at Carrow Road in the cold, and it's not a huge screen that we've got to do it off as well. But hopefully, we managed to keep the line straight so we can see the game, which is the most important part. But you're a pro, Chris. It's something for you that wouldn't be an issue.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think we have to do it out in the cold because we want to keep that real. We want to make it feel real, don't we? This is what being at a football match in January is supposed to be like.
No, I'm normally in the boxes, so it's fine.
It's the first time I've ever wrapped up warm to watch a game on telly.
Yeah. Well, what about in terms of like your positioning? Because normally during the game you're stood up watching the game, commentating as well. I mean, you're still going to be in the same position today?
Yes, because this is where we broadcast from. So we've had to plug into the broadcast point that we have at Carrow Road. So that's why we are outside. I think from a professional point of view, the one thing I don't know is, of course, when the match is on and you're here, it's quite fun watching Daniel Farke, watching which substitutes are warming up, but we might not see any of that unless they choose to show us. So the substitutions might come as a surprise today.
Yeah, and a very quick one. It's sunny in Wales. Do you feel a little bit jealous you're not there?
Should have been there, shouldn't I? I know Test Match Special have been commentating on England and Sri Lanka and talking about the difference in the weather. I didn't think we'd have the same thing talking about Cardiff.
Brilliant. Enjoy the game. Now, we all know Chris Gorham is a consummate professional.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant. It's your best commentator I think I've ever worked with. And that goes to TalkSport, all the stuff I've done. Good. But there's one thing I think Chris Gorham has got wrong. Now, just take a little look at this, first of all.
Referee thought he was looking for a foul and hasn't given it. Zimmerman then prevents a quick Coventry break, and look at a Cruyff turn from Tetting in the centre circle. And now McLean tries to release Paqueta. It's been cut out. Quintilla recovers it. I don't think I've ever seen
It's not a Cruyff turn.
See,
I don't know what turn it is though.
That's a Maradona.
Is it?
That's what he did in the World Cup round Peter Reid, wasn't it? Remember?
Yes.
He did that.
Foot on the top of the ball and
spin
round
round
with the other ball.
It's the Maradona, not the Cruyff.
So maybe he's not as good as we thought he was.
Is that what you're saying?
To be fair.
Yeah.
We said he was
you got any skills like that in your locker? Did you ever do any of them?
I loved it.
There's no Newman turn.
No Newman turn, mate. Trust me.
Yeah.
No Newman turn, mate. Wow. I would have done my knee ligaments.
Okay. Well, we've got some recent form we're going to show you for now from both teams. Cardiff, not on a great run of form, but you're getting into the C part of the season now, Rob. You're starting to play the teams for the second time. Obviously, Norwich only played Cardiff a few weeks back when Todd Cantwell scored a fantastic goal. So you're starting to get those teams. What's that like when you get into the second part of the season? Do they know a bit more about Norwich today, you would think?
Yeah, they will. Cardiff are always like a tough proposition on their own turf. I mean, 3 of those 4 games have been away. But listen, home or away, you're losing games. And when you lose games, you lose confidence. Norwich, like we've said many times this season, and thankfully we've been saying that, they're coming in as the top team in the division, the best team in the division. Yeah. So Cardiff will be on their back foot. Norwich have to go there with a real belief, and I'm sure they will, and give Cardiff no time on the ball, press them, they'll probably play their passing game and percentage and possession game. Norwich have to do nothing other than what they've been doing in the last few weeks.
Okay, so what's your prediction for today, Rob? I think we're 1-1 predictions, aren't we? You got the first one right, I got the last one right. So
I'm going to go for a draw today. I think a draw will be a good result for Norwich.
Okay, score draw or 0-0?
I'm going to go 1-1.
You're going to go 1-1. Okay,
yes.
I'm going to go for 2-1 Norwich. Okay, we'll see at the end of the game. Now, one of us has got to do co-coms with Chris Gorham today because this is the nice warm studio we're in here. It's lovely. Look, got a shirt on. You're in your, well, not sure what that is, potato sack. One of us is going to out and do the co-coms on the gantry with Chris in the cold.
Flip.
Here's a coin.
Flip. Tails.
Damn it, I'm off. All right, mate.
Go on.
Enjoy the game. We'll see you later.
Off your pop.
Swimming at night, she been calling me. Hold my breath in the pool, but she been underwater in the